Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Margaret. I'm 74 years old, and 2 years ago I was lying on my kitchen floor for 6 hours after a fall, wondering if anyone would find me in time. Today, I want to share how that terrifying experience led me to discover 5 emergency systems that have completely transformed my confidence about living alone, and how they could save your life too. The morning that changed everything. February 15th, 2023, 5:30 a.m. I was making my usual cup of tea when I slipped on a wet spot near the sink. One moment I'm reaching for my favorite mug, the next I'm sprawled on the cold linoleum with searing pain shooting through my hip. I tried to get up, couldn't. Tried to reach my phone on the counter, too far away. Tried calling for help. My nearest neighbor, sweet Mrs. Patterson, is 82 and hard of hearing. 6 hours. That's how long I lay there, watching the morning sun creep across my ceiling, wondering if this was how my story would end. Not from some dramatic illness, but from something as simple as a wet floor and no one knowing I needed help. When my daughter Sarah finally found me, she'd gotten worried when I didn't answer her usual morning call. The paramedic told us something that still haunts me. We see this more often than you'd think. Independent seniors living alone, no emergency plan, and a simple accident becomes a life-threatening situation. That night in the hospital, with my fractured hip throbbing and my pride in shambles, I made a promise. Never again would I be that vulnerable, that helpless, that invisible in my own home. Little did I know that this promise would lead me to discover a whole world of emergency preparedness designed specifically for people like us, seniors who want to maintain our independence without gambling with our lives. Meeting Rose, the woman who saved herself. 3 weeks into my recovery, I met Rose Martinez in the hospital's physical therapy wing. She was 78, recovering from a minor stroke. But what struck me wasn't her medical condition. It was her attitude. While other patients, myself included, were anxious about returning home alone, Rose was calm, almost eager to get back to her apartment. "Aren't you worried about living by yourself after what happened?" I asked during one of our sessions. Rose smiled and pulled out her phone. "Margaret, let me show you something that might change how you think about living alone." What she showed me over the next 30 minutes revolutionized my understanding of senior safety. Rose had created what she called her safety net system. 5 interconnected emergency systems that ensured she was never truly alone, even when she was physically by herself. 2 years ago, Rose explained, I had a mild heart episode at 3 a.m., but because of these systems, help was on the way within 4 minutes. The paramedic said that quick response probably saved my life. I was amazed. But how does it all work? It's not magic, Margaret. It's just smart planning. And the best part? Most of it costs less than a dinner out each month. System 1, the digital guardian angel. The first system Rose showed me was something I'd never heard of, a smart emergency response device that went far beyond the traditional "I've fallen and I can't get up" button. Those old medical alert systems are fine for falls, Rose explained. But what if you're having a stroke and can't push a button? What if you're confused and disoriented? What if you're unconscious? Rose's device was a small sensor that monitored her daily patterns. It learned her routines, when she got up, when she moved around, when she was active versus resting. If I don't move for an unusual amount of time, or if it detects a sudden impact like a fall, it automatically sends alerts. First to me, maybe I'm just napping, but if I don't respond within 2 minutes, it contacts my emergency contacts and, if needed, emergency services. The device also monitored her vital signs continuously. "Last month," she said, "it detected an irregular heartbeat at 2 a.m. I felt fine, but it urged me to call my doctor. Turns out I was having a minor cardiac event that I couldn't even feel." What impressed me most was the two-way communication. Even if I can't reach the base station, I can talk through the device anywhere in my home. The monitoring center can hear me, assess the situations and send appropriate help. Rose pulled up her app. "Look at this. It tracks my daily activity, my sleep patterns, even medication reminders. My daughter can check in any time and see that I'm active and healthy. She has peace of mind, and I have independence." The cost? About $60 per month. "Less than what I used to spend on cable TV," Rose laughed. System 2, the Neighborhood Watch Revolution. The second system Rose introduced me to was something called a virtual neighborhood watch, and it was nothing like the old-fashioned version I remembered from the 1980s. "Margaret, how many people in your neighborhood would notice if you didn't come outside for 3 days?" I thought about it. Maybe 1 or 2. And would they actually check on me? Rose had solved this problem by creating what she called her daily check-in network. It wasn't complicated, but it was brilliant. "I have 5 people who expect to hear from me every day. Not long conversations, just a simple text, email, or quick call. Each person knows that if they don't hear from me by a certain time, they should check on me." Her network included her upstairs neighbor, Tom, text by 9 a.m. Her friend Linda from church, call after her morning walk by 10 a.m. Her grandson Jake, photo of her crossword progress by 2 p.m. The pharmacist at her local drugstore, daily medication pickup or call. Her exercise buddy Ruth, confirmation about their evening walk by 5 p.m. The beauty is that it's not burdensome for anyone. We're all getting something out of these interactions. Tom likes getting my funny morning texts. Linda and I plan our activities. Jake gets a kick out of helping with my crosswords. The pharmacist appreciates regular customers. Ruth and I keep each other motivated to exercise. But Rose had taken it further. She'd introduced me to an app called Circle of Care that formalized this process. Everyone in my network gets pinged if I don't check in when expected, but here's the clever part. It escalates gradually. First, it just reminds me to check in. Then it alerts one person. If that person can't reach me, it alerts everyone. If no one can confirm I'm okay within an hour, it contacts emergency services. Rose showed me her phone. "Look, yesterday I was running late from my doctor's appointment. The app reminded me to text Tom. I sent a quick message. Running late, but all good. Crisis averted, but the system worked." She'd also connected with neighborhood apps like Nextdoor and Ring Neighbors. If I need immediate help, like if my power goes out or I smell gas, I can alert neighbors instantly, and they've helped me more than once. Last winter, during that ice storm, I posted that I was out of milk and bread. 3 neighbors responded within minutes, offering to share supplies. In the summer, when my air conditioning broke, a neighbor invited me to stay cool at their place until the repair truck arrived. The cost? Free for the basic neighborhood connections. $15 per month for the Circle of Care app. System 3, the Medical Emergency Protocol. Rose's third system addressed something that terrified me after my fall. What if I'm conscious and able to communicate, but need help explaining my medical situation to emergency responders? Margaret, in a crisis, can you remember all your medications, allergies, emergency contacts, and medical conditions while you're scared and in pain? Honestly? Number. During my fall, I couldn't even remember my daughter's phone number clearly. Rose had created what she called her medical emergency kit, both digital and physical. On her refrigerator was a bright red folder containing complete medication list with dosages and prescribing doctors, emergency contact information with relationships and phone numbers, medical conditions and allergies clearly listed, insurance information, and preferred hospital, living will and medical power of attorney copies, photo of her ID and insurance cards. Every EMT and paramedic knows to check the refrigerator first, Rose explained. It's the standard place for emergency medical information. But Rose had also gone digital. On her phone, she'd set up ICE in case of emergency, contacts and medical information accessible from the lock screen.
Even if I'm unconscious, first responders can access my critical medical information without unlocking my phone.
Rose also used a medication management app that tracked not just when to take pills, but also what to do if she missed doses, potential interactions, and side effects to watch for. Last month, my doctor prescribed a new blood pressure medication. The app alerted me that it could interact with my arthritis medication and suggested I call the pharmacy. They confirmed it and called my doctor for an alternative. That app potentially saved me from a dangerous drug interaction. She'd also registered with her local hospital's online patient portal. If I'm brought to the emergency room, they can access my complete medical history immediately. No delays while they try to figure out what's wrong with me or what medications I'm taking. Rose showed me her medical ID bracelet, not the clunky kind I remembered, but a sleek, waterproof device that contained a QR code. Anyone can scan this with a smartphone and get my complete medical information instantly. EMTs, doctors, even Good Samaritans who find me in distress. The cost? About $25 per month for the medication app and medical ID service, plus the one-time cost of organizing the physical information kit. System 4, the Home Safety Intelligence Network. Rose's fourth system was something I'd never considered, turning her home itself into an early warning system for emergencies. Margaret, your house is trying to communicate with you all the time. Most of us just don't know how to listen. Rose had installed what she called her smart safety sensors throughout her home. Unlike expensive home automation systems, these were simple, affordable devices that monitored for specific dangers. In her bathroom, a motion sensor that would alert her phone if she'd been in there for more than 30 minutes without movement. If I slip in the shower or have a medical episode in the bathroom, this system ensures someone will check on me quickly. In her bedroom, a bed sensor that tracked when she went to sleep and woke up. If I don't get out of bed by 10 a.m., or if I get up multiple times during the night, it logs the pattern. My doctor uses this information to monitor my health, and my daughter gets alerts if something seems unusual. In her kitchen, smart smoke and carbon monoxide detectors that sent alerts to her phone and her emergency contacts. If I accidentally leave something cooking, or if there's a gas leak, help is on the way, even if I don't smell it immediately. Throughout her home, water sensors near the water heater, under sinks, and by the washing machine. A major water leak can damage everything I own and create dangerous conditions. These sensors alert me immediately so I can shut off water and call for help. By her front door, a smart doorbell camera that let her see and talk to visitors without opening the door. I can verify who's there, ask delivery people to leave packages, and even communicate with emergency responders if I can't get to the door. But the most clever addition was her wellness motion sensors in key areas: living room, kitchen, hallway. These aren't security cameras, Rose emphasized. They just detect movement and can identify patterns. If I don't move around my home normally for several hours, the system sends a gentle alert first to me, then to my check-in network. Rose pulled up her app to show me the data. Look, it learned that I usually move from bedroom to kitchen by 7:30 a.m., spend time in the living room reading, go to the kitchen for lunch. Yesterday, I was moving around normally until 3 p.m., then no movement for 4 hours. The system alerted my neighbor, Tom. Turns out I'd fallen asleep in my chair reading, but Tom came over to check. Better safe than sorry, and it proves the system works. The total cost for Rose's smart safety network: about $40 per month in monitoring fees, plus one-time costs for the sensors themselves. It sounds expensive, Rose acknowledged, but compare it to one emergency room visit or the cost of assisted living. This system lets me stay safely in my own home. System 5, the communication lifeline. Rose's fifth and final system addressed something I hadn't fully appreciated. Staying connected to the outside world isn't just social, it's a safety necessity. Margaret, isolation isn't just lonely, it's dangerous. When you're cut off from regular communication, small problems become big emergencies, and big emergencies can become fatal. Rose had created multiple backup communication methods to ensure she could always reach help, no matter what failed. Primary, her smartphone with multiple ways to call for help. Traditional calls, text messages, and voice-activated emergency services. Backup 1, a landline phone in her bedroom and another in her kitchen. Cell towers can fail, power outages can drain phone batteries, but landlines often work when nothing else does. Backup 2, a two-way radio system connected to a local emergency preparedness group. About a dozen seniors in my area have these radios. We check in with each other daily and can call for help even when phones and internet are down. Backup 3, internet-based communication through her tablet, email, messaging apps, and video calls. Sometimes I can't make a phone call, but I can still send an email or text message through Wi-Fi. But Rose's most innovative solution was what she called her communication buddy system. I'm paired with another senior living alone, Helen, who lives about 3 miles away. We call each other every morning at 8 a.m. and every evening at 6 p.m. If either of us doesn't answer, the other person calls our emergency contacts. It's more than just safety checks, Rose continued. Helen and I have become close friends. We share our daily plans, concerns, celebrations. If one of us mentions feeling unwell or worried about something, the other follows up throughout the day. Rose and Helen had also arranged to be each other's medical advocates. If I'm ever hospitalized or unable to communicate clearly with doctors, Helen has copies of my medical information and instructions about my preferences. She'll make sure medical staff understand my situation and that my family is properly informed. They'd even practiced emergency scenarios together. Once a month, Helen and I do a what-if exercise. What if I call and you sound confused? What if you can't remember your daughter's phone number? What if you're scared but can't explain why? We've rehearsed how to handle different emergencies so we won't panic if they happen. The cost? Minimal. The landline cost about $25 per month. The emergency radio was a one-time $60 purchase. And the buddy system was free but invaluable. My 60-day transformation. Listening to Rose. I felt something I hadn't experienced since my fall. Confidence about living alone. For the first time, I had a roadmap for staying safe without giving up my independence. Days 1 to 10, assessment and planning. Rose gave me homework. Walk through your home and identify every scenario that could leave you helpless and unable to get help. This was sobering. Beyond obvious fall risks, I found dozens of potential problems. Bathroom with no way to call for help, kitchen accidents with hot surfaces or sharp objects, power outages leaving me without communication, medical emergencies where I couldn't clearly explain my situation, severe weather isolating me from neighbors, simple injuries becoming serious because no one would check on me. Days 11 to 30, building the foundation. I started with Rose's first system, the emergency response device. After researching several options, I chose one similar to Rose's that monitored both my activity patterns and vital signs. The setup was surprisingly simple. The device learned my routines within a week. More importantly, it gave me and my daughter immediate peace of mind. Mom, I can see you're active and healthy without having to worry or call constantly, Sarah told me. And you can go about your normal life knowing help will come if you need it. Days 31 to 45, creating my network. Building my neighborhood check-in system took more courage than I expected. I had to overcome decades of I don't want to be a burden thinking. My network ended up including my next-door neighbor, Jim, morning wave when I get my newspaper, Sarah, my daughter, evening call after dinner. My book club friend Patricia text about our weekly reading. The mail carrier, he knows to check if mail accumulates. My church friend Dorothy, Sunday service attendance check. The first week felt artificial, but by the third week, these check-ins had become the highlights of my day. I wasn't imposing on people. I was creating meaningful connections that benefited everyone. Days 46 to 60. Completing the systems. Installing the smart safety sensors was easier than I'd expected. My grandson helped me set up the more technical aspects, but most devices simply plugged in and connected to my Wi-Fi. The first time the bathroom motion sensor alerted me that I'd been in there longer than usual, I was deep in a magazine article. I felt both slightly annoyed and deeply grateful. The system was working. Total monthly investment, $180. This amount covered all 5 systems and gave me comprehensive emergency preparedness. To put it in perspective, that's less than what I was spending monthly on cable TV, restaurant meals, and other things that didn't protect my life. The psychology of aging in place. The transformation wasn't just practical, it was psychological. Before implementing these systems, I lived with a constant low-level anxiety about what if something happens? After my fall, this anxiety had intensified into real fear. I found myself avoiding activities, second-guessing every movement, and feeling like a prisoner in my own home. The 5 emergency systems changed my entire mindset. Before, I hope nothing bad happened, and if it does, I hope someone finds me. After, if something happens, I have multiple ways to get help quickly. This shift from helpless hoping to confident preparedness made all the difference. I started cooking again without fear of kitchen accidents. I resumed my evening walks, knowing my check-in network would notice if I didn't return. I even started taking longer baths, trusting that my bathroom sensor would alert someone if needed. Why age is your secret weapon for emergency preparedness. One concern I'd had was whether these systems were too complicated for someone my age. Rose's response changed my perspective entirely. Margaret, we've lived through decades of changes, and from rotary phones to smartphones, from carbon paper to computers. We've adapted to more technological changes than any generation in history. These safety systems are just another adaptation, and they're designed specifically for our needs. She was right about several advantages we have. Experience with systems. We understand the importance of backup plans because we've lived through enough emergencies to know things go wrong. Relationship building. These systems work best when built on genuine relationships, and we have decades of experience creating and maintaining meaningful connections. Medical advocacy. We know how to navigate healthcare systems and understand the importance of clear communication with medical professionals. Home management. After decades of managing households, we know our homes intimately and can spot potential problems others might miss. Community integration. We often have deeper community ties than younger people who move frequently, giving us more resources to draw upon. Common concerns and real solutions. This seems overwhelming. Where do I start? Start with one system. Rose recommended beginning with either the emergency response device or the neighborhood check-in network. Pick whichever addresses your biggest fear, get comfortable with it, then add other systems gradually. I don't want to burden my family and friends. These systems actually reduce the burden on your loved ones, Rose explained. Instead of worrying constantly, they have concrete information about your well-being. Instead of making frequent checking up calls that might feel intrusive, they're part of a structured system that benefits everyone. What if technology fails? That's exactly why we have multiple systems with different technologies. If your smart sensors fail, you still have your check-in network. If your phone fails, you have your landline. If everything electronic fails, you have your physical medical information kit. I can't afford all of this. Rose broke down the costs system by system. Start with the free or low-cost elements, the neighborhood network, the physical medical kit. Add technological solutions as your budget allows. Even one system is infinitely better than no system. I don't want strangers monitoring me. Choose systems where you control who has access to information. Your neighborhood network consists of people you trust. Emergency response services only activate when there's a genuine concern. You're not being watched, you're being protected. The test that proved everything. 6 months after implementing my systems, I got sick with pneumonia. Not life-threatening, but serious enough that I felt disoriented and weak. My emergency response device detected that my activity pattern was unusual and my vital signs were concerning. It sent a gentle alert to me first, asking if I was okay. I was confused and couldn't respond appropriately. Within minutes, it had alerted my emergency contacts. Sarah called immediately, realized I wasn't thinking clearly, and came over. Because of my medical information kit, Sarah could tell the doctor exactly what medications I was taking and what symptoms I'd been experiencing. Because of my check-in network, my neighbors already knew I hadn't been myself for the past day. The doctor said catching the pneumonia early, before I became severely dehydrated or developed complications, probably prevented hospitalization. Your emergency systems worked exactly as designed, he told me. Early detection, quick response, and clear medical information. That's how we prevent minor health issues from becoming major crises. Rose's final gift. Last month, Rose moved to a senior community closer to her son's family. Her health is still good, but she wanted to be nearer to family while she could still make the transition on her own terms. Before leaving, she organized a safety systems sharing meeting for seniors in our area. 12 of us attended, each sharing our experiences and helping others set up their own emergency preparedness systems. The goal isn't just individual safety, Rose told us. It's creating a community where no one faces emergencies alone, where everyone has multiple layers of protection, and where we look out for each other. We decided to continue meeting monthly, checking on each other's systems, sharing new ideas, and helping newcomers get set up. Rose's parting wisdom. Living alone doesn't mean being alone. These systems connect us to help, but more importantly, they connect us to each other. You're not just preparing for emergencies, you're building a support network that enriches your entire life.
The ripple effect.
Implementing these 5 emergency systems created unexpected benefits beyond safety. Stronger relationships. My check-in network evolved into genuine friendships. Jim and I now chat daily over the fence. Patricia and I discuss books, but also life challenges and celebrations. Increased confidence. Knowing I have reliable ways to get help made me more willing to try new activities and maintain my independence. Better health monitoring. The continuous tracking helped me and my doctor identify patterns we'd never noticed before. Enhanced community connection. Through the neighborhood apps and local emergency preparedness group, I became more involved in community activities, reduced family worry. Sarah and my other family members relaxed knowing I had comprehensive safety systems in place. Your emergency action plan. If you're living alone and feeling vulnerable, here's how to start building your own 5-system safety net. Week 1, assess your risks. Walk through your home identifying potential emergency scenarios. Consider medical emergencies, falls, home safety issues, communication failures, and isolation risks. Week 2, choose your first system. Pick the system that addresses your biggest concern. If you're worried about falls, start with an emergency response device. If you're concerned about isolation, begin building your check-in network. Week 3, implement one component. Take action on your chosen system. Order a device, call a neighbor, set up medical information, do something concrete to begin protecting yourself. Week 4, plan your next steps. Once your first system is working, plan which system to implement next. Set realistic timelines and budgets. Month 2, build your network. Focus on creating relationships and connections that form the human foundation of your safety systems. Month 3, add technology and backup systems.
Implement smart home sensors, backup communication methods, and technological solutions that enhance your human network.
Remember, you don't need to implement everything at once. Each system you add increases your safety and independence. The letter to my past self. If I could write to myself right after my fall, I'd say, Margaret, this accident doesn't mean you're too old to live alone safely. It means you need better systems. The fear you're feeling is valid, but helplessness isn't your only option. There are practical, affordable ways to stay safe while maintaining your independence. Start with one small step, then another. Your future self will thank you for refusing to accept vulnerability as inevitable. A community of preparedness. Every Sunday, I still attend Rose's Safety Systems group, now led by Patricia and myself. We've helped over 30 seniors in our area implement emergency preparedness systems. Last week, these systems literally saved a life. Harold, a 76-year-old widower who'd joined our group 3 months ago, had a heart attack at home. His emergency device detected the crisis immediately. His check-in buddy called when he didn't respond to the device's alert, and paramedics arrived within 7 minutes. Harold is recovering well, and he told us, "I used to think emergency preparedness was just about having a flashlight and some batteries. Now I understand. It's about creating a safety net that catches you before you fall through the cracks." The Sunday Promise. Every Sunday evening, I review my 5 systems: testing devices, confirming contacts, updating medical information, checking in with my network, and maintaining my home safety sensors. It takes about 30 minutes, and it's become a ritual that gives me deep peace of mind. I'm not just hoping I'll stay safe. I'm actively ensuring it. That's my promise to you. You don't have to choose between independence and safety. You don't have to live in fear of the what-ifs. You can take control of your safety while maintaining the dignity and autonomy you've earned. The real secret. Rose taught me that the secret isn't avoiding emergencies. It's being so well prepared that emergencies become manageable events rather than life-threatening crises. At 74, I'm more confident about living alone than I was at 70. I have systems, backup plans, and a community of people who care about my well-being. I've turned potential vulnerability into genuine strength. Your age isn't a limitation, it's an advantage. You have the wisdom to plan ahead, the experience to build relationships, and the resources to create comprehensive safety systems. You have the knowledge, you have the capability. The only question is whether you'll take the first step to protect your independence. Your future self is counting on the decision you make today.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If this story inspired you to start building your own emergency systems, please hit that like button and subscribe for more practical senior wisdom.
In the comments below, tell me, what's your biggest concern about living alone? And which of these 5 systems would you implement first? And remember, in honor of Rose Martinez, who taught me that true independence comes not from having no support, but from having reliable support systems that let you live life on your own terms. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, I'll stay safe and stay independent.